having people of all ages, races, and backgrounds creates a powerful team. Good afternoon, Sergeants. Welcome to the briefing. I am Corporal Madison Mace, and this is an informative brief for the overall classification of unclassified. I'd like to welcome my SGL, Staff Sergeant Brady. Thank you for being here today. The purpose of today's brief is to understand why diversity is needed in today's Army and how it is an asset to us all. Here is a brief agenda of what we will be covering today. We have the introduction, ages, races, backgrounds, and some time for some questions. Diversity includes age, race, background, ethnicity, gender, religious beliefs, and even political beliefs. During my briefing, I will discuss these areas and how they affect the Army. I will refer to charts and demographics, and we will be comparing and contrasting some different cultures. Age. Today, the Army is full of soldiers of all ages. According to federal law, you have to be 17 years old with parents' consent to be in the Army, and 18 without parents' consent. The maximum age for enlisting is 35. We all learn different lessons throughout our lives. We all have experienced different periods of our lives. To have a successful team, we need mature leadership. The only way to gain maturity is through experience. Experience can shape people and make them who they are. There are many soldiers today who are not yet old enough to be a part of the Army and to experience deployments. Many soldiers did not watch the Twin Towers fall on the morning of September 11th, 2001. It is going through events like these that define a person and make them who they are. When we have soldiers of all ages, we have people with experience and a sense of maturity. Maturity can be the difference in making short-term decisions. We need leaders who have been through events and are prepared. Older soldiers have the chance to learn from their mistakes and experience so that they can teach the younger generations of soldiers. Here's a picture of numbers of ages on the slide that we can see. So we have 25 years or younger. That looks like to be the largest percentage of what makes up the Army today. Next down we have 26 to 30 years old. A little bit less, about half of 25-year-olds. We have 31 to 35 years old at 14.9%, and 36 to 40-year-olds at 10.5%. Then we have 41 years and older at 8%. So from this chart that you can see that 25 years and younger make up most of the Army. So we need the lowest 8% to be teaching the 25 years and younger people. That's why we need this experience and maturity in the Army. Are there any questions? Next, we will be talking about race and ethnicity. We have a vast amount of races and ethnicity that make up the Army today. Some of these races include African American, Asian, Indian, Alaskan, and multiracial. Nearly 1/3 of soldiers identify as a racial minority. Soldiers that grew up in completely different cultures and places of the world serve in today's Army. Growing up in these different environments and cultures shape who you are as a person. For example, a person who grew up in Africa is going to have different views and a cultural base than someone who grew up in the Midwest in the United States. People from different places also have different skills and language skills that can be used during missions. While on deployment, the locals might trust someone from their race rather than a soldier from a different race. It's the different cultures that help someone bring more experiences to the table to make our units and ultimately the Army stronger. Here we have a picture showing the demographic of races. So you can see that we have American Indian and Alaskan Native there at the top at 1%. We have Asian there at 4.5%. We have Black or African American at 17.1%. And we have Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander at 1%. We have white at 69%, multiracial at 3%, and other or unknown at 4.2%. So from this graph, we can see that whites make up a majority of the Army today. Are there any questions so far? Lastly, we will talk about background. Having soldiers from different backgrounds is also a key element of a strong team. One of these backgrounds includes education. Education is the focus of becoming a strong leader. Leadership is something we teach throughout a soldier's career. To teach leadership, a soldier must go through many different schools. Each one of these schools requires a different education level before entrance into the program. The higher the education level, the more likely a soldier is successful in his training. To be an Army officer, you must have a college degree. Education is important. It is not only important for the advancement through the ranks, but also a combat multiplier when you take the uniform off and hit the job search. It's important for the real world today. Education can help a soldier when their military career is coming to an end. Background can also be where the family grew up or where you came from. It can also be a soldier's religious beliefs. Having a strong religious belief helps shape right from wrong at an early age. A soldier who knows the difference between right and wrong makes them reliable and trustworthy. These are the kind of soldiers that make great leaders. These are all the things that make a soldier who they are. Here we have a picture of education levels among soldiers. At the top, no high school diploma or GED is less than 1%. High school diploma or some college is 67%. Associate's degree is 8.9%. A bachelor's degree is 13.6%, and advancement degrees 8.3%, and unknown is 1.9%. So we can see that a majority of the Army today is an educated base. A lot of that belongs to the high school diploma. A lot of soldiers that we see today are straight out of high school. Any questions so far? In conclusion, all of these things define a soldier and make them who they are. One life-defining event can change a soldier's life completely. Experience can create the maturity needed to mold a strong leader. Maturity helps leaders make decisions. Culture can give a soldier the advantages needed to achieve success in a mission. Education can give a soldier the tools to make them a leader. All of these things are skills that are put together to make a strong team. Combining all of these things help the Army build teams and leadership that can solve the nation's issues together. Diversity in the Army is important because having people of all ages, races, and backgrounds creates a powerful team. Do we have any questions? This concludes today's brief.